and I was in love. And I basically said that to her. So it was one kiss and one communication and a $748 phone bill, and we fell in love.
Welcome to Normalizing Non-Monogamy, the podcast where we interview incredible people from across the entire spectrum of non-monogamy to hear their fascinating stories. We strive to bring guests on the show who have a healthy approach to non-monogamy. However, it's important to remember that everyone does it a little bit differently, and the views and opinions expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect our own.
Additionally, we produce this show for entertainment purposes only. Please be aware that we aren't doctors or therapists. Consult a medical professional for anything regarding your health that you might learn about on the show. Enjoy!
Welcome to episode 87.
Surprise bonus episode.
Monday!
Well,
is it too echoey in here?
No, I think it's fine if you don't yell.
Well, everyone, welcome to a Monday special episode. We're Finn and Emma.
A bonus episode, a secret bonus. No one even knew it was happening.
I know. We didn't even know it was happening until the last minute.
That's true. It's very true.
Okay.
We will talk more about why that happened in a moment.
Yes. So first off, today we have an interview with Lara and Patrick, and they are amazing people that we actually met at the Life on the Swingset takeover at Desire. And they have a really cool story.
Yeah, really awesome how they got together. Kind of funny little anecdote in there, but nevertheless, we're gonna get to that very shortly. We just have a couple of quick announcements, and then one more quick announcement, and then we'll get right into the show.
Yeah. So a couple of quick announcements. We are going on the road, if you haven't heard. We have a few meet and greets coming up. That's super exciting. The first is going to be October 3rd.
That's this week.
Yes, this Thursday.
In New York City.
In New York City. The second one is going to be on October 18th in the evening. That will be in Boston. And then October 26th in Toronto. So for more information to RSVP and to get everything about it, please go to our website.
They're called deets.
Okay, get the deets, sure.
Get the deets.
Go to our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com, and go under the events tab. You can also sign up for our email list there, and we'll be sending out information about the meet and greets.
Absolutely. The next one is a super awesome, exciting thing that's happening on October 16th. We've been doing monthly Patreon video Q&A sessions with us. We've been normally doing them at like 9 or 9:30 Eastern time. We're going to mix it up this month, and we're going to do two of them. We're going to do one at 9 p.m. Eastern and one at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So double the chances to chat with us and making it a little more accessible to the West Coasters.
And other time zones.
And other time zoners.
Yes.
So information on that, you can sign up on our website and check out all the details.
Under Patreon.
Yes.
Okay, so
why are we having a special secret, top secret, ultra secret
release on a Monday?
Bonus episode.
Well, it has something to do with an upcoming trip to Desire that we're not actually, unfortunately, going on, but a lot of really cool people are.
And the organizer, Cooper, wanted to rub it in our faces that we weren't coming, but he also wanted us to maybe throw a little shout out there because they have 10 rooms left, and so he's trying to get those sold out and fully book out the resort and do a complete takeover, which is super awesome.
Yes.
And yeah.
So to be clear, this is the Life on the Swingset Desire Takeover Week. It is November 2nd through the 9th. For more information, you can check out the link in our show notes. It'll take you to the Life on the Swingset Desire Resort Takeover website. So please, if you have any interest in doing this and you want to splurge and go for it, please do. It's amazing, and they're all wonderful people.
Well, so don't take our word for it. We talked about it in episode 1, how it impacted us, but we went through our list of episodes that have also talked about how it has impacted them, and we will put links to all these in the show notes, but they are in numerical order.
Yeah, sure.
1, 2, 4, 10, 23, 31, 55, and 78.
How fast can you say that?
I'm not going to do it again. But also add on top of that 87.
Today.
That is why we bumped Lara and Patrick ahead of Mark and Eliza. That's not a slight on anybody. It's just Lara and Patrick, again, had one of those life-changing experiences at Desire, and they told a little bit about it in this week's episode, and so it was fitting to bump it up.
Yes, exactly. And also, you can check out more information about the Life on the Swingset Desire Takeover. A lot of other podcasters talk about it and have their experiences.
Well, they're going to be there. Let's look at all the ones who are going to be there.
Yeah, so of course, the people from Life on the Swingset, Bradford and Angela from By the By, and they actually did a Desire recap on their show from last year's episodes, their episodes 136 and 137.
Then you've got some other podcasters, Life Erotic, they've been there before. Bed Hoppers from the UK, this is going to be their first time going to the Swingset Takeover. Torrid Souls out of Canada, that's going to be their first time going. And Ending the Sexual Dark Age, this would be like their 77th time going, maybe. I don't know.
And there may be others. Forgive us if we missed any, please.
So, yeah, so definitely go check out all the information on this if you want to go hang out with tons of kick-ass people for a week, November 2nd to 9th in Cancun. Please do that. Also, if you're going, one quick thing you can do before you go is get tested for STIs. You can do this for free going, there's some resources on our resources page for like the AIDS Health Care Foundation, I think it is, that lists free ones.
There are a few select locations throughout the country that do offer free STD testing. So check that out. You might happen to live in one of those places.
Or if you want to support our show and save $10 off of your testing using our links for STD check, I ran the quick math. For every 433 tests you do and save $10, you could book your trip to Desire.
Wow, 430. Okay. It's a lot of testing.
Yeah, but I mean, if you did eight per week, that would pretty much get you there.
So over one a day.
So if you got tested 8 times a week for a year.
You gotta give a lot of blood away.
And pee.
Yeah.
So it's just an option, ways to start saving up the $10 and then put it towards your trip.
Yeah. Anyway, we're super excited about this trip. We're bummed that we can't make it this year, but we can't wait to hear all about how amazing it is and how much fun everyone has.
Also, if you do 430 tests this year, we will be able to afford to go next year, and we would even probably be able to afford to bring you with us.
That's true. I don't know if I want someone to get tested that much at once. But that would be pretty funny.
Let's go hear Patrick and Lara tell their story and get yourselves to Cancun, and we'll see everybody on Wednesday for a normal episode.
Yeah, let's go.
Patrick, Laura, Emma,
Finn,
welcome to the show. We're excited to have you on, coming to us, all the way across the country. Thanks for reaching out again. We met you too at the Desire, but I'm sure we'll get to that part of your story. But maybe before that, do you mind telling us about who each of you are, maybe how you met, what you're doing here?
Little background.
All right.
I'm Lara. I'm 50 years old. If you do the math, I was born in 69.
That's a good birthday year.
My first act of my life was growing up and going to school. The second act of my life, I was married for 18 years, had a good marriage, but we grew apart and split up. And then the third act of my life, I was very, very lucky to meet Patrick and have a wonderful, great relationship with Patrick now.
Wow, that's cool. Along the same lines, I'm Patrick. I'm 51, just a little bit older than her. Same thing. This is my third act in my life right now also. Grew up before kids and everything. I didn't have any kids, actually. Grew up, got married. Was married 21 years to an amazing woman. In 2013, I became a widower, and I met Laura. And then from there, our life turned around. I mean, it was after Karen passed, I decided we got married very young. I was going to go date crazy. I did. There's a story of a bisexual nymphomaniac with auditory hallucinations and schizophrenia. That's actually pretty cool. We might get to that one later. But But met Laura, and it just was an amazing chemistry that just fit perfectly from the very beginning. I was surprised that I met somebody so fast.
Yeah, so you both met, it sounds like you both met each other fairly soon after other relationships were over. Yeah.
So yes, and I wasn't expecting to find the fairy tale, what I call my person. I wasn't really expecting that. I was like, oh, I know I'll date, I know I'll have relationships, but I kind of figured I'd be on my own for a long time, and because I wasn't going to settle for anything less than that. And I was very surprised when I met Patrick of how well we connected and on all levels, and how much we accept and appreciate each other, and just it's magical.
And the sex is amazing, so that really helps a lot. So.
Well, how did you two meet then? Because you alluded before we started recording that this is a great story, so we have to get into this a little bit.
So I'm going to try to keep it it's a long story, like I said, but I'll try to keep it short. So after Karen and my duty to Karen was done, I was like, I'm going to go have fun. And so I went off and I was dating people and having a great time. So I'm up in the city and I'm going down on this beautiful woman in the hotel, and I am enjoying her. She's enjoying it. And all of a sudden she comes up and says, oh my God, what is that music? And I'm going, what music? There's no music here, darling. No music at all. Oh no, I can't identify. Tell me what it is. Then all of a sudden everything came together. And this was what I said before. She was a bisexual nymphomaniac, literally could not get enough of it, loved everything. Schizophrenic, so she had almost multiple personalities, auditory hallucinations. It came to me kind of like, like the cartoons where you go, oh my God, why didn't I think of that before? It hit me like that, and I go, oh, I need to get out of here. You needed to run, rabbit. So I finished up, cleaned up, and called Laura. Quite literally, I called her. I texted her.
You were texting me.
So we met online through one of the dating sites, Non-Lifestyle. I was a little bit lifestyle with my late wife, and I introduced that to Laura later on. And so we were texting a little bit. We were hooked up on eHarmony, and okay, I'll plug that just a little bit. But we got. We started communicating, we started talking, and 2 days after I started talking to her, I was supposed to take off for 3 weeks with my mom to Europe. So we went off and she said, I want to meet you. Let's go meet. And was it Tuesday night?
Monday night.
Monday night, yes.
Monday night for sushi. I didn't get a reservation. I'm like, who would get a reservation?
For Monday night sushi. Who needs that? No, except when you have half-price rolls. So I walk into the bar.
This place was packed with people.
Crazy. So we get
Luckily, I got there early.
Yes. Being the A-type personality, wanting everything to go perfect. And I was late. I walk in and I say, I was looking around, and as I'm walking in, the hostess says, Laura, party of two. And I look around and I go, Laura, party of two. And here's this beautiful blonde sitting over there. A guy on one side had 2 glasses of wine. The other guy on the other side had a martini. And they're like picking up on her. And then she turns around, leaves them in the dust, and comes over for me. And I'm going, oh, I like this already. This could be a lot.
This is your first meeting in person.
This is our first
meeting in person, yes. I just was like, I had been hanging, because I got there early. I put my name in early. A seat opened up at the bar. I'm like, I'm going over there. I'm going to get myself a drink. There were some guys hanging out. I decided just to start talking to them. They were very intrigued that I had a first date with somebody. They're like, let's see how that goes.
Second and third date didn't go too well. So Laura and I are both a personality-driven individuals. So we're sizing each other up. The date wasn't the greatest because we're sitting at a bad table that was it felt like 6 feet across, and we were really
next to the bus
station. We had bad drinks, corked wine, slow sushi, it was about everything that could go wrong. It was except
for it was so slow that we had a long time to talk.
We had about 3 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. We had a good conversation. And being the gentleman that I am, believe it or not, I actually am sometimes. What I always decided when I was leaving a date was, okay, I have 3 options. I can go for a kiss, I could go for a hug, or I kiss the back of the hand in a handshake or something of that sort. And after feeling the conversation with Laura, because Laura was a little on edge, I was a little on edge, it's like, I'm just going to kiss the back of the hand and be done with it. We wander on out. I walk her to her minivan. We walk to the minivan, and as we're saying goodbye, she goes up to give me a kiss, and I grab the back of her hand, kiss the back of it, and I get this, oh my God, what are you doing? I could have had a beautiful kiss and it would have been wonderful. And I said, being the slight guy I thought I was, she basically, I left.
You left.
I walked away thinking,
he walked off.
I walked off. And I'm like going, no problem. I'll be back in 3 weeks. I'll see you then, see if it all works or anything else like this.
So I then get in the car. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, one of the most important things about this is whether we have chemistry. And I couldn't tell if we had chemistry. And if he was going to be in town, I would have just left it. I would have been like, okay, we'll figure that out. But I'm like, he's leaving for 3 weeks for a vacation. I'm not going to see the man. Like, how much further do I want to converse with him? So I finally go, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to do this. I need to go find out.
So I'm walking along, and I look over, and there's a minivan starting to stalk me.
Okay.
So I get out of the way.
The only reason I was following you in my car is because I had a pulled hamstring, and by the time I made this decision, I realized I could never catch up to you.
I'm being stalked.
I was proud that I wasn't on crutches anymore.
So I'm being stalked in a minivan, which was highly unique. And so I'm walking along, and I get out of the way, and I'm getting closer to my car, and I didn't realize it's Lara. I'm like going, okay, what can I help you with something? I have a question. I get a little closer, and this is where I wish we had video. We could show this. I'm going to show you guys. So basically, she gets up, and she gets out of the van, and it's kind of like, oh, damn, the leg hurts so much, and almost pouts, and says, please kiss me, don't make me beg. At that point, my gentleman shield comes off, and I say, this is legal. I can do this. I'm not going to offend anybody. An hour later, we finally part ways. And I guess
we were still standing in the parking lot, just to be clear.
Yeah. Okay. It was about an hour-long kiss.
So there was chemistry.
There was chemistry. She had a nice ass. It felt great. It was. I had a lot of exploration going on. It worked out quite well. I left the next day for Europe, and when I left, had 3 women I was kind of talking to and everything else like this. By a week later, I had no one else but Laura. A week after that was New Year's. I was in Prague with the fireworks going off in the head, and I was in love, and I basically said that to her. So it was one kiss and one communication and a $748 phone bill, and we fell in love. And then when I got back, it basically a week after that, I got back, it was all just downhill. It was awesome after that.
Downhill.
Yeah, it was downhill.
I think
it was rolling.
I was going to say, it was good. It was wonderful.
It was great. It was great. It was incredible. It was, and I'm, very lucky. Patrick's family and friends accepted me so quickly and so well. And
it was meant to be. It's meant to be.
Just been great.
So,
well, and so how?
So that was like 2014 timeframe.
Yeah, it's the end of 2013, the beginning of 2014. Yeah.
And you said that along the way here, Patrick, you not to downplay your story.
No.
It's a fascinating story.
It's interesting.
No, it is. It's hilarious. And I think, I was going to say 2 things. One is you should really look into Google Fi as a phone service for future trips like this, because it's way cheaper than $700 a month.
No. Yeah, that price was on top of the free Wi-Fi.
Skyping.
We were on a cycle of talking every 8 hours for 1 to 2 hours.
Oh my God.
No matter where it was. I could be in the middle of a museum, and I was like,
and I was somehow working.
Somehow,
but
we're not sure.
It was Christmas time.
And so during these phone calls, did the topic of lifestyle and swinging come up at all? Because you did say you had explored it a little bit with your wife.
I think that Patrick asked questions along the way as we were getting to know each other, just trying to see my general take on things, right? take on life, outlook on things. And that gave him an inkling that I could be open to this. I remember when he first started telling me that he and his late wife had sometimes gone on separate dates on the same night. And I was like, what? And so that was like mind bending for me. I'm like, really? Like if he had gone on a traditional swinger date with all four of them, that would have made a little bit more sense to me. But so some of that was there, but the idea of threesomes was fine with me. The idea of friends with benefits was fine with me.
You've always had that, though.
All of that, yeah. And so about 6 months into our relationship, there were bits and pieces that we started dabbling in here and there, and then over the course of that year, because he knew more about this, and it was very new to me in a lot of the ways. He started dribbling it into my consciousness.
Subconscious games are a beautiful tool. But also I realized that she listening to your past and your past lovers and everything else, the idea of non-monogamous casual sex was easy. And it turned out it's like, okay, well, let's just play with this a little bit. I just didn't know or call it the lifestyle or know that that's what it was exactly. But I had my, my friends who I knew that, weren't the loves of my life and weren't those things. And, or they maybe were in other relationships, and I was very open about, and we were open to each other about that they were in other relationships, but we still liked each other and could do whatever we wanted to do together. And that was okay with me.
Right. So you had sort of been in dynamics where other people were not necessarily while you were with your husband, where you were exploring it, but you were with people who were exploring it, and you were the third or the whatever. Yeah,
but this is the thing where our society and how we grew up, it's not that they were open with, so they weren't open with their primaries who they were in relationships with. They were hiding. I was the, other person, the cheater, it was, and I was okay with it because I had to decide that, and I would always ask people, you need to be 100% sure that this is what you want to do. This is okay. This is what's happening, because you have to live with yourself about that, whether you're going to lie to that other person or not.
I found that endearing, and I like that philosophy.
And I'm going to be okay with me. There was one of my friends who, when they got married, the wife didn't, I think, know. And I hadn't been with this guy, but she said, I don't want you to ever seeing her again. And I was like, that's fine. If that's what you need to have a successful marriage, I will, not be your friend anymore. And that's an okay thing, because I always want to respect other people's relationship and their choices that they're making.
So what ended up happening was we ended up trying, we went to a local club up in the city, and we ended up just playing with each other, but we realized he kind of liked it and it was getting better. We had another couple we played with, kind of was a full swap. There was a little bit of a mind game in that, but that was to be expected. Still great, wonderful people. We're still in touch with them all the time. Then, so we did the standard thing and we said, let's do this. And so we put up a Cassidy SLS lounge, Lizard Lounge or Lounge. I put up 5 different sites.
Lifestyle
Whoa,
lounge.
5 of them. That's a lot to keep track of.
I went all out.
Yeah. When we met, I was on one dating site. He was on 10. And so the same thing happened when we got in the lifestyle. He was like, I'm going to be on all of the sites.
Well, to be fair, it's much harder for men seeking women online than it is for women.
Oh, no. When we met, he was a widower with no children. Women were throwing themselves at him.
Well, fine. Prove me wrong.
So you kind of tiptoed into it by going to a club and seeing what it was about, and then jumped online and said, okay, now we're going to try to meet people.
Absolutely.
And then basically we found a couple that lived just 5-10 miles from us, and they were our first.
And they were experienced, and they were Well, and they were great. They were so experienced. They were smart.
Yeah.
They had everything set up. They were like, come to our house, come just have, some drinks and hors d'oeuvres, and we'll meet you. And that's what they thought we were going to do for the night. And we ended up like there and talking to them and talking to them and talking to them and talking to them. And finally they were
then
like,
she took her bra off.
So
that was good.
What's the intention here? Because we actually have a single guy coming over like in a half an hour.
So we're like, and I look over at Laura and she goes,
well, can we just stay?
So our first time into it was a 5-way and it was fun. Then it was,
so they had thought you were just coming over for like an hour or two, like to meet them and say hi.
And they double booked you.
And they double booked.
Yes.
It worked.
They were really smart. They're like, we can meet some newbies, talk to them. It's not going to go anywhere tonight. And then we've got a sure thing coming over who we know.
And they didn't understand that Laura was like a fish in water, man. She's like, no, this actually makes a lot of sense to me. I like this. Let's go. And it was like, what am I going to say? No, I don't think so. So yeah, the first time, and it was amazing. And it felt right to us. It was just, there was no, the communication was easy. It was like, okay, this is what we do. This is how we play. You had your first kind of woman experience with her, and
then they invited us the next weekend.
Yeah, that's right. That was the orgy.
A 9-person orgy.
That was the next
with
one.
Their friends. They're like, oh, can we like these people enough? Maybe you can come be part of this group.
Well, so hold on. So had you, going into this first night where you had the surprise 5-way, had you talked about what you wanted to do, how you wanted to explore it?
Or any rules or boundaries that you had?
Or anything? Or was it just like, we're going over for drinks and, now there's 5 of us? Like,
almost.
We did, I think the first time we went to the club, which we can't remember the exact timing of, but maybe a month, 2 months before this, Patrick introduced me to podcasts. And I vividly remember listening to Swingercast, episode 101, which I don't know if it's still available.
I think that was 5 orgasms between the 2 of us listening to that podcast in the hotel before we went there. That was amazing.
Well, that's not a super sexy episode, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh.
Normally it's 10 orgasms between the 2.
For her, yeah.
So we were starting to listen to, so then I was understanding the vocabulary, understanding the different pieces. We were having a lot of conversations. And so, yeah, we did have a lot of conversations. But when we walked in that first night meeting that couple at their home, was that what we were expecting to have happen? Not necessarily, but we were, let's go with it. We had some rules, and then we broke them that very night.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Like being in the same room.
Yeah, no, I was downstairs.
Because it was comfortable.
It was easy.
It was easy.
Yeah. So then the second one was the group, and then after that, it was just like, okay, this is what we're meant to do. What ended up happening out of the entire engagement is we came even closer. It was just like nuclear attraction came in, and you couldn't separate us. And you've heard this many times. It's like all of a sudden the way we touched, the energy, the sex that we had, the connections that we had, not even just the sex, but the connections, the level of the orgasms, the level of the feeling just escalated beyond belief. And it was like, wow, this is what we're meant to do. And this is how we felt.
Well, so, I've got to back up again. I'm sorry. And I've got to push you on something here, because I think if you were to ask 100 brand new couples, like your first experience, you went in and you had basically no rules, but you had some rules, and then you broke them all in the first night, and then you just followed that up by being like, oh, it was easy, the conversation was easy, the communication was easy. But how was it that easy for you two? Because I don't think everybody would say that. And
absolutely.
Okay, and I don't think that we actually broke. I apologize if that's what came across. We didn't break every rule.
No, I'm not implying you did, but your ability to communicate on the fly like that and to go with the flow together is something that I think a lot of people would love to be able to do. Yes. and cannot do.
And
I think that Patrick was more experienced and more okay with everything, and I was the one that was probably a little bit more trepidatious. And then when we were there, and this still happens to me today. And then when we're there, so and I'm in the moment, I'm totally comfortable and fine. Yeah, because I'll like get myself, if we're going to go to the club or when we went to Desire last year, I can get in my mind a little bit and get worried about things. But then once I'm there, I'm like, oh, this is all okay.
Yeah.
And I relax. So somehow that's part of it. And it is different with different people. Right. I mean, the couple who this was with, they're great. They're great people. They, like I said, if it was a different couple, that might not have turned out that way. And so we read and we're able to read each other enough. It hasn't been that way every single step of the way, every moment. We've had times where we've had to say, okay, that worked, or, oh, wait, oops, we didn't communicate at this point on that night. And that bothered me.
Yeah, before you went off with 5 guys in the back room, you should have told me ahead of time. That would have been kind of nice. I didn't know where she was.
What was that?
Hypothetically speaking.
Okay.
But the other thing is, it's also where we are in our life. If I was younger in that situation, I probably would have had a mind game and a half. But I am where I am right now. I'm secure in myself, and Laura's in the same place. We've had a lot of experiences, and it's like I know who I'm with, and it's like, let's just have some fun. And that was the attitude going into it. I'm not worried about her running off. There's no jealousies. It was fun to watch. It was fun to participate. It was fun to be a part of it. So it was positive every time we turned around. So it was like, there was no games. There was no problems. We talked about, hey, we should do this next time better. Okay, we need to communicate. And we're still doing that. We had a date the other night, and it's like, okay, we made a slight mistake here, a slight mistake there. We always do a postmortem on the dates. What could go better? Are we going to see them again? We're not going to see them again. We still do that. We've had lots of dates and lots of experiences in 4 years. We're always learning. If you're not learning, then, man, it's too boring. Right. But I think we're just blessed in the fact is that we communicate so well, and I can read her body. And like I said, Laura, just when she gets into, I call it party mode. You put half a bottle of bourbon in her, man. Oh my God. Last time that happened, 7 guys one night and 1 strap on. It was interesting.
Yeah, but that was somebody's birthday party. He did a really good job of inviting the right people to his birthday party.
Good. That was a good party. That was a good party.
Wow, these are some fun, amazing parties, they sound like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're not every,
not every weekend.
Not every weekend.
No.
But,
yeah, it is important to note, I guess, that this has been, 5 years-ish of time.
In the making.
4 years. 4 years. Yeah.
4 years.
Well, how often...
go ahead, Ness.
No, I'm sorry. How often do you to get out and do this? Because I think that, like Emma was saying, that's another misconception, is that it sounds like talking to you that you do this every other day, and that's definitely not true.
I can't keep that up. Don't kill me.
You might be able to keep it up.
Well, I have not. With you around, that's easy.
We, I think, go in cycles a bit, where there's times where we might be very active for 3 weeks. We might actually be very active for 3 weeks. And then it might be 2 months that we don't have a date at all. And there's people who, there's some people who are close by us that we try to get with, but their schedules, our schedules, somebody gets sick, something happens.
It's the same thing you hear again. And scheduling is the hardest thing in the world. Yeah. Now, I mean, where we live, everybody has busy schedules. That's a fact of life. And work makes it that, work weekdays just really don't work for me. I can't. There's no bandwidth. Shift my brain.
Yeah.
Fast enough between work and going on a date. Even a Friday night date is sometimes difficult. It depends on the week. Yeah. And so we know that those are boundaries. There was a couple that had different kind of work schedules that, like, we liked them, but we started realizing we're not compatible because our work schedules are bad.
Yeah, it was me Tuesday afternoon at 3:00. No way.
Yeah.
But the other thing we do also is we do date a little bit separate. Laura does have a few friends I have a friend or two, so we often date together. We'll go on our own separate dates from time to time too. And it's kind of the fun variety, and we have a very simple rule with that, though, is make sure the other person knows what's going on and tell me everything. That's all I want. I just want to hear the stories. Show me all the juicy details. And it's all good.
So you can share the fun afterward, too.
Yes. The voyeuristic of I was a photographer for a long time also. So, but I love the visualization and the stories and everything else.
Right. So. Well, how long after you went 5-some 9-person orgy, and then how did it progress after those couple experiences? Because like you said, now you've gotten to the point where you're playing and going on separate dates, and you have, it sounds like, not quite poly, but you do have some ongoing partners, which is very poly adjacent. I would venture.
Poly adjacent, what a beautiful word. I kind of like that. And actually, that's one of the things we're going to talk about is we do have several friends that we see again and again. We have friends we'd love to see more and more of that are just amazing people. They live too far away, or the schedules don't work.
Schedules are difficult.
So the poly side of it is, I guess,
it gets to be good friends. It gets to be that relationship, and I actually see that a lot on the lifestyle sites where people are like, oh, we want to be friends with people. We want people who we like. And we have been fortunate to find about, I would say right now, we have 4 different couples that, we have seen multiple times, but that might be only twice a year.
Yeah, right. Just scheduling.
And we reconnect, and we connect on sort of that vanilla level and then the lifestyle level as well. As a benefit. But if something's going on in our lives and that doesn't work out, that's okay too. We'd be happy just to get together with them.
And we have. And that's it. Most of the people we play with, we want to see again. But there's a few that's like, okay, that was a one-timer. We're not going to worry about that again.
Or if we go to the club or something.
The club, then it's anonymous and it's kind of fun and it's crazy. And it's just like, wow, I can't remember us doing that before. That was kind of cool. Let's do it again. The nomenclature of the poly, it's like bi, and that's actually one of the things is we changed over the period of this time, the 4 years, we've kind of changed our profiles. Laura bi is not the right word, whatever we want to call it. It's I'm open-minded.
Right? Yeah, those are those things where the conversations when we first put a profile up, right?
Yeah,
it's like you have to define all these things, and so that starts deep conversations right there. Right? Mm-hmm. What are we going to write? How are we going to present ourselves? And what are you going to say? At that point in time, I really hadn't had experiences with women, but there were times in my life when I had wanted to, but didn't act on them. And so this has given me those opportunities to explore that side of myself.
And
I've been at the point where I was calling myself bisexual, and now I'm really been changing that because I don't know that that's the right word for it. The term pansexual seems more correct for me because it doesn't matter what the gender of somebody is to know if I have chemistry or attractiveness to somebody. It's about who they are as a person and some other quality that is an energy quality that I don't know what that is, about whether I really am attracted to them. And it doesn't matter what their gender is.
So it's that sexual fluidity, the fluidness of your sexuality and how you interact with people. I identify myself as kind of, if I have to put the label on it, I'll put it on there. I'm bi-curious, by something or another. Am I attracted to men? Not most. Do I enjoy women? Yes. But when we get into a group situation, then it becomes rather, I like the fluidity of not caring who we're playing with. Some of the orgies that we were in, it was all bi orgies. So it didn't matter. Everybody enjoyed everybody else equally. And I love that. I don't mind going down on this person. I love going down on this person. I love them to do this. I love them to do that. I have one rule, nothing in my hiney. Other than that, I really don't care. And then it's enjoyable. And how do you describe that? It's not by curious. I mean, have I made out with a man? Yes. And it was fun. I loved it. It was desire, as a matter of fact. I hope to do it again. But it's the special people. And like I said, it's the fluidity of the sexuality, depending on the situation and the people that are there. So how do you put that into a title on top of your blocks? And
it's hard.
Yeah.
Because I think that was very beautifully explained as far as, it's people, and some people you're attracted to and other people not necessarily. And that's just some people you have chemistry with, others not as much. And that's just the natural fact of being human, I think. And, probably the closest word, like you said, is pansexual. But that's hard to incorporate all of that into a profile.
It is. Well, and so one of the big things was that when we very first put the profile up, Patrick was listed as straight.
Yeah.
And then
we got a lot of hits.
Right?
Oh, look at her.
Fresh meat, right?
Fresh meat. Fresh, beautiful meat. Yeah, great.
And then a few months later, you changed it, yours to by curious as well. And really much less people who engage with us. But that's actually okay with us.
But the quality of people that were engaging with us were the people we wanted. And it turned out to be this other level. And it's nothing against, I'm not going biased on this, but it seemed like these are the kind of people we like to hang around. And this is one thing that with desire, I mean, you don't know who's going to stand next to you. You can look at their beads and it was so comforting to be who I wanted to be. Right. If I wanted to grab somebody and they were cool with it, it didn't matter what the sex was. No one else was going to judge. And it was free. It was truly just an unreal experience.
Well, I think it's a filtering algorithm, right? If you put something up there about you that
on your profile,
on your profile or out into the world, that it's going to weed people out, and the people who are left are the people who are going to want to be around you and who you want to be around, and
at least have a higher probability of those people.
Right.
You attract the people that you want to attract.
You're probably not attracting the guys who have to write in all caps 100% straight, blah blah, like that kind of stuff, right? Like even if they are straight, they don't care. They understand that you're not just going to start doing things to them that they don't want done
without asking.
Thank you. And that's a huge point, because we have boundaries that we don't want people to do. And if other people tell us that they have boundaries, we're going to respect that. Yeah. And, so we've been with straight swap to straight people, and that's fine.
Actually,
that's what that experience is.
Fun.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a different experience for us.
Right.
And that's fun.
And so, we can play different ways with different people. We can understand that and be fine with that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a lot of what we appreciated with the Life on the Swingset Swingset Takes Desire group was that people respected each other's boundaries and realized that they could play with people in different ways. Yeah. For example, I'm not into kink. I'm not into the dungeon. I'm not into those things. But not once during that 7-day trip did anybody, shame me for not wanting to do that, or put me down, or worry about it at all. We had a wonderful time, and it was totally fine that that's not what I was into. I just was accepting that other people wanted to do those things. They were consenting to do those things, and I'm fine with them doing it. And it's interesting to me. It's not a turn on for me or sexual if I watch it. It's just interesting that other people want those things.
Right. Yeah. It's not like you're not laying by the pool and someone comes up and starts whipping you. That's not how.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. Typically.
No.
There needs to be a consent piece there.
Just a little bit, and the consent is taken seriously, which is really
right.
And actually, along the entire lifestyle, we've had very few negative experiences in all our play.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Most of those people out pretty early on. That's pretty straightforward. I'm the social secretary. So I get to go ahead and weed people out. And then whether it's single people, either unicorns or single guys or whatever else like that, we're able to weed them out and kind of go, okay, this would be fun or this wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
And very high success rate. So,
So do you still have 5 profiles?
No, we're down to 2. We're down
A little more manageable.
It's manageable. I can handle that. We're still on Cassidy and SLS. Cassidy is because of they're good. They're out there, and SLS, which is basically very prominent in our area on the West Coast. So it just makes it easy. So I keep those 2 going, and we don't pay a lot of attention to it, but we don't. If we want to date, it's pretty easy to go look at our Rolodex and kind of look around. And we don't. We're getting to the point where it's kind of nice not to have new people, but to have the same people again and again. This comes back to your poly side. It's like it's the relationship of many, but many relationships that you want, but having it being the same people because you learn. It takes me to be 3-4 times with a woman to really be able to push her buttons and be able to enjoy it and to get her riding that wave and kind of pushing it up and going, okay, this is what I got to do. And same thing, having the guy or the gal or the combination and figuring out how 4 or 5 or 6 of us play takes 3-4 times, 5 times. And then it gets really exciting. That's the stuff you write. That's when I go home and I start writing little stories about it. And it's like, oh, I wrote this.
Because there's a learning curve of different people.
Yeah, I enjoy that curve. I enjoy that curve a lot. Along with a few other curves. There's a few curves.
Right. I wasn't going to say it. I was going to let you take it. That was an easy one.
That was a softball. That was so easy. I had to walk right into that one.
So you've mentioned desire a few times. We mentioned it right at the top of the show about that's kind of how we met you. And this last year, November 2018 was your first year, right?
That was our first year.
Had you ever been to an all-inclusive resort like that before?
No, we had not been to anything like that. And through listening to podcasts and stuff, it was one of those things where we had talked about doing it. Well, and Cooper S. Beckett's books, really lay that out there about, at least what it is for some people. And definitely made us, talk a lot about wanting to do it. We went on a vanilla cruise a few years ago, and while we were on the vanilla cruise, started going, so if this was a lifestyle cruise, what would that be like? And there were a couple moments where I was like, yes, this would be great if we could just have sex right over on that couch right now. But for the most part, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'd be overwhelmed with this many people all like checking each other out constantly and worried about, whether you wanted to get with somebody or not. And I thought, I think that's too many people for me to deal with. And so going into Desire, I don't know.
200 people.
Whatever it is.
112
112, whatever the heck it is. Even that at some point made me sort of worried. But then I had to say, look, I'm not going to fuck all of them.
You could.
You could. That would be an epic week, though.
Yeah.
That would have been an amazing week.
It's only like 14 couples a day.
Oh my gosh. You can't even imagine.
Has done the math already. Did you hear that? So once I come down from that, I'm like, look, it's okay. And it felt much more manageable. And we were there. It was very manageable and it was good. And you can't connect with everybody, even on that scale.
It's just not possible.
Right.
No.
But we made good connections with a smaller subset of everybody who was there.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
You got a week of being with people, and this was mentioned before on a few other podcasts that you've put on. You find people, you're there for the week, you get the connections, and it becomes real. And we're still in touch with some of those people now. I mean, we're flying back and forth to go see people all the time, and it's awesome. And it's just, I can't. If anybody's on the bench about it and thinking, well, do I want to go? Then I want to go. Just do it. Life is too short for regrets. I'm sorry.
Yep. And that's what happened to us the first year. After the first year we went to, we came home and then ended up flying across the country a few different times the next year to see people.
Yes. It's awesome.
And this, obviously, Cooper still doesn't pay us for our advertising for his,
Hey, Cooper.
but
Dylan pays you, though. I heard about that.
the check must have got lost in the mail. But I think we talked about it a few times about how our experience there has really changed our view and our strategy in swinging. And you mentioned that at the top. Actually, you mentioned this off video, off audio, off microphone, whatever off recording. That you had a similar sort of revolutionary experience. I guess. Do you mind talking a little bit about like what that was, and maybe if you think it's possible to recreate that outside of that environment, and for people who can't maybe swing. Sorry,
bad term.
can't afford to go down to Desire or to Hito or wherever to find that environment.
You know what? The bigger thing what made this work was like-minded people, LGBTQ, XYZ, comfortable. QIA. Okay. Everybody was comfortable with everybody else, and everybody was like-minded being in the same place. And same place for a prolonged period of time. It was the time factor that made the difference, I believe. The first couple nights, we did play the second night, first night. Anyway,
but there wasn't the pressure. So if you met somebody and you're like, oh, they're kind of interesting, you didn't feel like, oh, I have to glom onto them and maybe, bring them to the back room now, because otherwise we might not have a chance with them if we walk away for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
We know that maybe we'll see them at breakfast tomorrow, or we'll find them another time, and we can connect and talk amongst ourselves about, oh, I saw that couple. Did you meet them yet? Would you like to talk with them too, or not? And so that helped as well, right?
And so
you have the time.
To have the time, and this is what you don't get anywhere else. You don't get 7 days of being constantly in the environment where you're sexually just on and you're comfortable in your own body.
And you're not being distracted by everyday life.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Phones get turned off and put in the safe. As soon as that's the only vacation we take that my phones get turned off on. Mm-hmm. So they get turned off, put in the safe, and we don't want to know anything. But it's 7 days of being in that environment and enjoying the people. I don't know how you reproduce that outside. It's a time factor. I think that's the biggest thing, is the time factor and having the right-minded people. If you get a bunch of swingers together, it's going to be one hint on it. If you get a bunch of poly people, it'll be a different hint. If you put the bunch of BDSM, swinger, poly, LGBTQ, queer, crazy, beautiful people together that are super intelligent, you get Desire. And you just mix them up, and then you find what you want. You don't, like Lara said, or actually Finn said perfectly, you can't do 14 people a day. Well, I know a few people who could, but 14 people a day is hard.
It'd have to be really hard.
Oh, God. I need a lot of pills for that one.
So that might take some extra help.
Yeah.
Okay, but going back to Finn's question, and I don't know that this is true, but I would suspect there are people and places that could create those communities through munches, through meetups, where you start calling the right people, and if they keep coming back over and over again in a local geography, where you really do start getting to know the same people, that could happen. I could see that possibly happening, and it probably does. And we just don't know about those.
We don't have the bandwidth to think about that.
There's meet and greets that are near us that we've been lucky enough to get to know the hosts of, but there's a few people who, the times we go, they might also be there, but there's always new people. And so there's not that core, and it's much more broad based. If that meet and greet, though, was defined a little bit differently, And I don't care what it is, whether it was defined the way Life on the Swingset defines their takeover, defined the way, whether you're into, I don't know.
Pet play. Throw it out there.
Thank you. There you go. Right. If you're into pet play, right. How do you make sure that all those people show up together so that you build those sub communities? Sure. I don't know, but they might be out there.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I was just curious, like what your take on it was, because I think that's something, it's almost unfair for us to always be saying, oh, you got to go to Desire. That's how you change your world. And there's,
But it is,
that's not always possible.
No, it's not.
But,
no.
And I appreciate that greatly, because we, time and money is always finite. Mm-hmm. And so it is difficult. And I'm just thrilled that we did go on a takeover, and it was something we had talked about, even as we were looking into, when could we possibly go?
We stumbled
because the non-takeover times, the whole, somebody might be there for 4 days, somebody might be there for 2 days, somebody might be there for this many days, I think changes that dynamic a lot. And then it's also kind of like a club experience where it's random who might show up. And the club that's near us, although it's a drive, I've been there on nights where I'm like, this is worthless, and I'm tired of coming here because this isn't very good.
And then she goes up there and with a girlfriend picks up 3 people, and it's an amazing night. You never know.
Yeah.
So
I think maybe the key is to be patient.
Yes.
I think you're right.
Well, so you've also, you talked a lot about the benefits you two have seen and have reaped from this. Are there things that you two have struggled with? I mean, it sounds like communication hasn't necessarily been one of those, but like, are there things that you've struggled with, things that have been speed bumps or hiccups along the way that...
Time.
Yeah, no, schedule. He'll push me.
I'll push.
I'll start going, he'll start filling the calendar, and I'll start going, when am I doing the laundry?
No, you're swinging. All you need is you don't even need underwear for that. Hey, let's just go.
You just have to start doing dates at the laundromat.
Yeah. So yeah, never thought like that. So no, the schedule is the hardest thing. It's like when I get into the mood, it's like, okay, great, let's set up another date. I got these great people. Hey, this guy, you're gonna like this couple, and she's going.
Well, because it's fun, right? It's fun.
It's fun, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's a schedule thing. That's our biggest conflict. Is our lives are so chaotic, and we have so many responsibilities at home. How do you balance all this out? Mm-hmm. And how do you make it work? And that's actually you're right. That is our biggest struggle. We've gotten better at it. We communicate more about it, and it's going. Other than that, it's once we're there and we're committed to the date, it's easy.
It sounds like, Laura, once you've made the decision, you're there. You're
and she's had a shot of bourbon.
Yeah, you're in. Yeah, and you're there. It's all good.
Not always.
Oh yeah, always. Yeah. The social light comes out, and she just doesn't, and she loves it and embraces it, and it's a beautiful alternate personality.
Well, no, but
oh my God, are you?
No, stop it. We went to a meet and greet on a Wednesday night.
Oh God, yeah.
That one time I walked in, and Patrick had already been there for probably 45 minutes before I got there. And he was in a great mood. He was chatting with people. He's like, oh, here, I want you to meet this person. And I needed like a good solid 15 minutes to transition. I had not transitioned yet from work mode to being there. And I was cranky and awful. And so the first person I met, I'm sure she was like, oh my God, never talking to those people again.
Yeah, we learned that one. I've learned that one. So it's kind of like,
okay, I pushed myself tonight. That wasn't good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what we said earlier, though, is we're always learning. After every time we go out or do anything, we talk. And it's like, what do we do next? I'm always learning from her. What are your tells? What worked? What didn't work?
Yeah.
And she learns from me. It's like, no, that's not my kind of thing, and I don't like this kind of person, or I do like that. And it's always getting better. And we're never going to be perfect, but we're going to always try.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it sounds like you can have an easy solution to that. What you just described too is like when you first arrived, you could have taken 15, 20 minutes and just chatted. The two of you had a drink, sat down, and then like gone and been social.
Yeah. And now I'm reading her when she comes into these things. It's like, okay, where are you at?
Yeah.
You just got off the phone after 2 phone calls and you have a chaos going on at work. Okay, let's sit over here. Oh, no, you had a beautiful phone call. You're talking to her lifestyle friend on the way over here, listening to one of your podcasts. Oh, great. You're ready to go.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So how about family and friends? Have you been open about all of your, I guess, pastimes with
what
people?
A great question. Okay.
We told Mom we had a conference call tonight.
With people from Cancun.
Yes.
What? Hey.
Hey, you're not lying.
That is true.
Her response was, I'm going to turn the volume up really loud
on her
television so she doesn't hear us.
Oh, so does your mom live with you then right now?
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
My mom lives with us. So 81-year-old mom. It's awesome.
Great.
It's actually the best thing.
Yeah.
But we have made the decision that we're coming out. We have a group of friends. We're going to call them. Can I say the name? Yeah. We call them the Brat Pack.
Oh, I thought you were going to say chocolate chip.
Oh, chocolate chip. That one too. But they're chocolate chip. They're our chocolate chip friends. They're not quite lifestyle.
Well, they're not vanilla.
They're not vanilla. You're not
they're
lifestyle.
Not lifestyle.
We get together. It's 4 other couples, and literally, when we're in a bar or someplace, you have no idea who's with who. I can have one gal on her with arm and an ass on my other hand, and Lara's on his lap over there, and everything else. And then another dad's going to be disciplining the 2 kids for throwing the pool balls across the table and doing this, and that's not even their kids. It's a amazing group of friends that I've lied to once. I had one of them ask me, "Are you a swinger?" And I said no. And when I said that, it killed me. And we talked about it afterwards, and we said, "Oh, the hell with this. Let's call it who we are." And so we took each of the couples out to dinner and told them. And literally the response was, "Yeah, we knew this. What's the big deal?" And it was like not a big secret or anything else, but it allowed us to come out and be comfortable in our own skin around them, to our closest friends.
Yeah.
And several other people we started coming out to.
But it's a process, and I'm very much in the process. I'm very much wanting to be much more out. The normalizing, and you're normalizing non-monogamy. I have the desire to be much more out than we are, and I am slowly doing it. Sometimes it's just, again, that time issue where I'm trying to find the right time to have the right conversations with everybody, because I have discovered that it's a lot easier to have the conversation with people who are not close to you. Yes,
it is.
Yeah.
The people who are closest to you are the hardest conversations. Yeah. Because they care the most. They might be worried about you the most, or it's much more vulnerable for you in those situations. We at this point don't have the inclination to come out to our family.
They know,
but we don't.
They know.
Hide it.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't. So there's times when we say, "Oh, we're going out with named friends," or "We're going out with friends."
Right.
Don't know when we're going to be back.
About 3 o'clock in the morning, we come stumbling in, and we're always taking a bag with us when we go. Why are you taking a bag with us? And 5 bottles of wine. It's like, what are you doing?
Or even I have young adults, and they're around, and they don't want to know. They don't want to have that conversation with me. But on the other hand, we're again, as you said, free and open with our friends around them. And trying to model loving, healthy friendships and relationships with folks.
Well, it sounds like if any one of them, if your kids or your parents or anybody came out and directly asked you, you would then have that conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we would. And it's if somebody asked us, and we'd say, here's what we are. This is what we do. And it's... I have a few people that said, we have a few friends that say that I don't want to know more. It's like, perfect. I absolutely respect that. And they go, I have other ones going, oh my God, tell me the stories, please. And it's like,
we're like, no.
You're a creep. But you're a good friend. I've known you forever, but you're a creep. That's okay. But it works. But it's actually kind of comforting. We're starting this process in our life, and it feels good.
Right. And it's different. I think I look at the courage of others, right? The courage of the gay and lesbian community that somehow they have to come out at some point and talk about a subject that our society has on billboards and TV shows and every, song on the radio, but yet you don't want to have a real conversation about.
Sure.
And those people are forced to be outed in some way, and they have a lot of courage. And so I'm trying to get to that level and have that courage ourselves, because as it is, if I just come out and say I'm bisexual or pansexual, then that creates the question, right?
Yeah,
you're like,
sure.
But you're with Patrick, so what does that mean? Right?
Yeah. Yep,
right?
absolutely.
That naturally follows about the monogamy piece that is not yet discussed in our society, really.
Right.
And even in LGBTQ circles, there are people who say if you're bisexual that you're not really part of this community. And that is not everybody in that community that says that, right. But I know some people who are like, if you're not living with the same sex partner, then
you have no idea.
Then you're not part of us.
Which actually makes the fallacy of that this is even a bigger burden being who we are in some respects. It's almost easier to be out and be gay than to be
in 2019.
Yeah, and non-monogamous, bisexual. I mean, it's like, wow. Okay. Anyway, that's just our opinion.
But that's just at the moment. And so then I go, how does that change? So the only way that changes is to normalize it.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you doing that and coming on and sharing that you are pansexual and that's how you identify, and there's no one that's going to tell you can't be part of that community because you're going to like what you like.
Well, and make the choices that you want to make, because if someone identifies as pansexual or bisexual or anything else, then you still can make a choice to be with one person and be in a monogamous relationship, and that's what their choice is. And I think it's the key that we're trying to demonstrate is that it is a choice, it is a conversation, and it's something that needs to be more mainstream in our society.
Absolutely.
We should call it mainstreaming non-monogamy.
Mainstreaming non-monogamy.
That'll be our sequel show.
It's like that. Your second act of your show.
Yeah.
But that's my hope when I see you of a younger generation than us, and those younger than you, and the people you've had on the show, in other episodes, and when I look at my offspring and others, how natural and accepting that they are.
Yeah.
That the world really is changing, and it is getting more accepting, and it is getting better in a lot of ways, and so we just need to be a part of that.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it, and thank you for that.
Yes, and thank you, for sharing. And
now is it bloopers?
I was just going to say, yes.
Yeah, it's about that time. Okay, I got one. Okay. So I'm a pilot, and we have a plane, and a little plane, yeah. So I went up on a date, and one of my favorite things on the date is to go what they call the ultimate $100 hamburger, which is flying up to Napa, having dinner in Napa, then flying home across the Bay Area. We live out in the Bay Area. So it's this beautiful metropolitan area, and at night you see the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco and everything. It's awesome. So we meet at the airport. We go up there. We fly up.
So this is just with you and one other woman, right?
With a friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, an amazing, beautiful, stunning woman.
She's great.
She's awesome. She's awesome. So I fly up there. She's never been in a little plane. She was giddy. It was fun. She was just giddy and happy. We get there. We have a dinner. We're still getting to know each other a little bit. And as we're getting done with her dinner, she goes, okay, I got to do something. This is going really well. And she takes her bra off at the restaurant. I'm like, all right, this is going really well. I kind of like that, hands it to me, and I put it in my pocket. And then we climb back out into the plane and are going to go come back to my main airport. And so we get into the airplane, and her top comes off, and there's these beautiful double D mom. Sorry, I like tatas. I don't care what side. But they were sitting there. So I'm trying to take off and fly a plane, one hand on the yoke and one hand on her tatas, and she is just enjoying the touching and the feeling and everything else. I get so far behind the plane. I'm taking off. I'm talking to the wrong controllers. I'm almost going to places I shouldn't go. If there is a lifestyle pilot that's listening to this, which is really unusual, I almost busted through a Bravo airspace into San Francisco. We're in really busy areas here. I'm so far behind the plane. The ATC, which is the air traffic controllers, are talking to me going, what the hell are you doing? That was kind of what they said. Wasn't programmed right. My GPS was wrong. Everything. I had to literally go, got it. I can't be playing with her and flying the plane. Stop. Aviate, navigate, communicate. I had to go back to the very basics of flying in order to get home in one piece. I did. I figured out what was going on, got home okay. But now I have a new rule inside my book, which is basically no tatas out in the plane when I'm flying, because I can't keep my hands off of them, and it's just dangerous.
And it's distracting.
It's distracting. It is beautiful, and I love it, but it's like literally on my checklist. I have checklists for everything. It's like, keep the titties in, and that's
I think we might have a new record for biggest first world problem I've ever heard in my life. So
that is a perfect yes. That is the best. Yep, absolutely.
And now I know why you don't go to the laundromat on your dates, because you're flying to restaurants.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was like, it does sound like an epic date.
Yeah, it sounds like I got to step my game up.
Hey, you guys come out here, we'll fly you anywhere. Not a problem.
I'll even keep my titties in for you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And for you, keep your pants on. There you go. Then I'm happy.
No blowjobs in the backseat.
No blowjobs. Yeah.
Keep the nakedness and sexual things to non-flying time.
That was hard. I was a really I've never been that distracted flying before. Yeah. I was gonna do that again. But anyway, that's the best story we have.
Besides your piloting advice, do you have any final words of wisdom or parting thoughts that you wanted to share before we let you two get on with your evening?
You didn't ask us about safety.
Oh, do you want to tell us about?
I know.
I thought we.
That just came to me right.
Well, I thought we covered it when we said don't fly with your titties out. Besides,
that's really safety. That's saving thousands of people. So, but the biggest advice I would say.
Well, no. Now you got to answer the safety question, Patrick. Besides keeping your boobs in,
then we'll go back to your advice.
How do you two approach the safety, and whether it's physical safety or sexual safety or whatever type of safety within the lifestyle?
It's the testing and the talking and keeping everything open. And we have the conversation with everybody. And we do something that is, we test each every 3 months, alternate. And
it also depends on how much we've been playing.
Frequency.
6 months without playing, and it's like that. But if we know we're going to start, hey, we got a date coming up here, one of us will get tested, and we'll test for each other.
Well, because there was one night that somebody I was with had a broken condom.
Oh yeah.
He hadn't come yet, and so, but it still freaked me out, right? And so I talked to the doctor, and they're like, "Really, you need to wait 8 weeks before." Or things might show up, and so we were super careful, and
we didn't play after that.
Right,
we didn't play after that, so we kind of held off. and we played, but it was like, okay, great, we'll just kind of figure this out. Came out clean.
Came out fine. But that was one of those scary things. So a couple things from that is, one is I'm super happy that one of the things you guys promote is My One condoms.
Yes, the best condoms in the world. Thank you very much.
We found those, and then we test them at home first, and I'm like, oh my God, these are really comfortable. These are good. I like them. I wish that
I buy them by the case, and
I wish all the guys who have used those.
Okay. I'm not paid by One Condom or anything else like that, but you tell you what, man, wrapping your dick in a condom doesn't feel the greatest, but when you got a condom that fits you right, it's not too big, not too loose, not too anything. It almost feels like it's not there. Well, yeah, it feels like it's there, but it makes a difference. It makes a difference. I feel, Finn, we have the same problem. It's like, okay, I got to be on. Okay, women can almost fake it, get away, put a little coconut oil on there.
Yeah, you can fake it till you make it.
Exactly. We don't have a choice. We've got to be on. And this helps, knowing something that I know I'm really comfortable. I'm not going to choke it. I'm not going to choke the chicken too much on it or anything else like that. It helps. It's actually kind of amazing. So I will say that everybody, One condoms, get it sized, get it fitted right, get a sample pack. My one.
Yeah, the One condoms are their standard condom line, and then My One is their specific
60 different sizes.
Right, different size condoms. So actually you can sign up on their website and get a measurement tool. You can print one off and try it out and measure yourself.
Or send us an email and we might be able to send you one, because we have we have
a
stacks
lot
of them.
Or I was actually wondering if maybe at Swingset Takes Desire, if we could we could help measure people while we were there.
Hey, that is totally up to you.
Yeah.
Afternoon measuring session with Laura.
Size extension. There you go. I was going to say something else. So one thing I found is that for unfortunately several years I had HPV, which can cause cervical cancer, which you can die from. So people don't like dying from sex.
Nope.
And lots of people have HPV, particularly of certain generations. I mean, there's vaccines now, and so younger generations are hopefully not going to have to deal with that. But I had a very persistent one that I had for a long time. And so that was another reason to do that. And so disclosing that when I was positive, I'm finally clear, yay. But just disclosing that and saying that you struggled with that makes other people feel free to open up about times that they might have tested. Okay, I'm not supposed to say positive. I'm supposed to say something else.
I think positive is fine, or reactive. You're fine.
Reactive, thank you. Reactive, not reactive. When you're reactive to something else, people say, "Yeah, I did have this once." We've actually had people say that I was reactive to blah blah blah. It's like, okay, great. Well, I got treated and now I'm fine. It's like, okay, thank you for telling me. Right.
And so then we can make other judgments about, how we might want to adjust if we want to be playing with those people, and that's fine. And I think that when everybody is afraid to say anything, and because I think the standard answer usually is, oh, I get tested, I'm fine.
Right.
Right. That is the
That's not a conversation. That sometimes seems like a brush off to me. And sometimes could get me concerned that, are you really doing that? What is your protocol? What's going on? And then beyond sexual health, my biggest worry is flus and colds.
Yes.
And Patrick crashing his plane.
Yes.
Just keep the titties away. I'm fine.
But yeah, just like general germs, right?
Yes, because in the lifestyle, you're much more likely to catch a cold or the flu from somebody than anything else, particularly if you're spending enough money to go on a cruise or whatever other vacation you're going to go on. People don't want to not go on their trip.
Yeah.
Right?
Go anyways, and they're like, I got a little bit of a sore throat. Let us know. I mean, Laura had this one instance where she felt like a cold sore coming on. And so we were playing with this couple and it literally came on. She says, I feel something. It's like, okay, I won't use my mouth. I have everything else is open and ready to go. And we used it. But
that was the weirdest night ever. Try sometime to play without using your mouth. on anybody, right?
Not even
anybody.
me.
Yeah,
it was like, wow.
Night.
It was interesting. Then the next morning she goes, it's gone. I feel nothing. It's fine. We're going, you got to be kidding me.
It was probably a pimple. I don't know.
So it wasn't a cold sore. It wasn't anything else. And it's like, we don't get cold sores. So I'm like, what the hell's going on here? But our concern is like before we go to Desire, I mean, we're going now for a week. It's a huge expense and it's a huge thing. We'll kind of abstain from playing with everybody just to say, okay, and I'll wash my hand 5 times a day, 6
like
times
a few weeks beforehand. Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm going to get hyper. And it's like, you sneezing, I'm going to go wash my hands. You see, in that office, I'm going to wash my hands.
And we make sure that we sleep well. And they were eating well. So
there's an exercise. There's the whole thing of taking care of yourself ahead of time. Don't get run down, so your immune system's normal and all of that stuff.
People don't pay attention to the sleep. The sleep solves a lot of problems.
It does.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're going to say a piece of advice. And well, by the way, thank you so much for sharing that, because I think that, as you know, you've listened to the show, we like to talk about that. We like to normalize it and
mainstream it.
Mainstream it. So thank you for opening up and talking a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the advice is, I think actually one of the bigger things in the play, when you're going for prolonged play, like Desire and stuff like that, one thing, people don't sleep. You guys are there, and they're scheduling themselves, and they're sleeping 3 hours, 4 hours. I talked to Dylan, I talked to Cooper, and it's like, man, those guys they're always moving, they're always doing something. We are very strict about saying, hey, we're going to give ourselves 8 hours of opportunity of sleep every night. Mm-hmm. We're going to schedule ourselves out to keep ourselves mentally strong and physically strong, and also to be able to enjoy it as much as possible. And when we're playing on a weekend or something else, we'll purposely not schedule something the next day in the morning, because it's like, no, we need to recover. We need to get that sleep in. And especially when drinking a lot, it takes an extra day to get to sleep, because when you're drinking, you don't sleep well.
Right.
We all know that. How many people here are woken up at 2:00 in the morning after drinking going, why the hell am I awake? It's the alcohol. Right,
exactly. Alcohol definitely impacts your sleep.
Yes. Yeah. So my biggest thing is just figure out how to sleep well. And everything gets a lot easier. Communication, everything gets better.
And makes people, when you're busy and you have a hectic life and you want to have fun, sleep is the easiest thing to go, right? Well, that and exercise probably. So you just have to pay attention and take care of yourself a little bit, because that's how you stay healthy and have fun.
But if you're doing your sex right, you're not sleeping and you're exercising.
This is true.
Your sex should be your exercise. You shouldn't be sleeping while having sex.
That's true.
Not to say that I have never fallen asleep. And I've never I did put someone to sleep once. Never mind.
Yeah, you did. But that wasn't your fault. That was
the
fault.
Alcohol's fault.
Yeah. She didn't fall asleep. She passed out.
She was snoring.
Right.
She was gone.
I forgot about that.
That's good.
All right. Wow. Fun trip down memory lane there.
Yeah. Wait, have you fallen asleep?
Not with anybody else. I've come close sometimes when it's the two of us. Not that you're boring, but you're more forgiving.
I know.
It's the comfort zone. He's so comfortable with you. It's just like, I can be myself, and if I have to fall asleep I'm
going to let myself fall asleep. Yeah.
I'll let myself fall asleep because
I know. I'm not exactly innocent either. I'm sure there's times then it's been my turn. So
not with me. Well, thank you both for sharing everything you shared, all the advice, all of the tips, tricks, playing strategies.
And fun times. Yeah, and thank you for reaching out. It was amazing to meet you at Desire last year, and we were so happy when we heard from you. So thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate what you guys are doing. This is an amazing podcast, and I love the style that you're doing it in.
Absolutely. Well, it's only amazing because of
everybody,
just like you guys. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying that facetiously.
No, that's the truth. If this whole episode every week was us talking, it wouldn't be that great. So
it would be us fighting about.
I don't know about that, but anyway.
You guys are so cute.
All right. Well, you two go have a wonderful evening. We're going to go to bed because it is almost midnight here.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry. Thank
it's
you.
not
Okay,
it's
it's
not
all
your
good.
fault. It's our fault. We did this to ourselves.
It's all good.
So
Have a good night.
yeah, thank you again and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Bunch.
you.
Good night.
And we're back. Right.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're now 1 hour closer to our meet and greet
On Thursday.
on Thursday. I'm pretty excited.
I am too.
We're going to meet awesome people. I think there's like 15 to 20 people signed up.
Yeah.
And
It'll be a good group.
it's going to be kick-ass. Also, one thing that's important to know, if you're thinking about coming and you're like, oh, well, I don't want to go by myself. Yeah, you do. You want to come by yourself because...
It's just going to be a meet and greet. It's just people chatting, and it's okay to come by yourself. We encourage that. If you're interested at all, please come check it out.
Yeah, I'll even talk to you if you're by yourself. Well, you should probably talk to me. I'm a little shy.
I was going to say.
All right, let's go.
Well, first off, thank you to Lara and Patrick.
Yeah.
They reached out to us, really wanted to come on the show. We were very appreciative of that, and they had a really cool story. So hopefully everyone got some cool tidbits out of that and enjoyed listening to what they had to say.
Also, you may not remember this, but there was lots of good flight safety information in there.
I do remember that.
So, yeah.
There was some good tips there. Next Wednesday, which is actually this coming Wednesday, I misspoke there. So in 2 days, everyone, you got another episode. And this one is going to be the one with Mark and Eliza.
And that's one day before our meet and greet on October 3rd.
Yes.
All right, let's leave these people alone. Let's go. We got to go do some things.
Yes. So thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you on Wednesday.